I came across a very interesting topic today, especially in the kind of people that grew up or that had a hard upbringing. And there's a very popular statement that most of the time they make, where they say, "I do not want my kids to suffer as I suffered. I don't want my kids to go through the same pain." And it's quite popular amongst a lot of communities. It's very interesting as well to know, because some of the things that we never had, as in we didn't have and we saw it as negative, those things we didn't understand that they protected us against certain things. And remember, that statement goes, it's very broad. You can explain it in so many ways, but the angle I'm looking at this moment is, sometimes somebody will say, well, I grew up and I couldn't afford takeaways, so, or to go and eat out, so I'm going to make sure that twice a week my kids can eat out. Twice a week my kids can order as much as they want. I'm going to give them that advantage, and that's that. And when we're referring to those things, we're referring to somebody taking somebody to fast food, especially, maybe don't mention names, but you're taking your kids to fast food and you're also taking your kids away from any form of walking and exercise. And it's good. It's good. We say that as community, and it happens in everywhere, all races. I don't want my kids to go through what we went through, and no one's kids deserve to go through what somebody went through in their upbringing. But that should be used as a lesson for you to say, because of this, I learned 1, 2, 3. So how do I make my kids learn all of these things without taking them through this same pain that I had to go through? Because a lot of things can be learned through you educating them, but not you enabling them. So that is where I'm saying it's very different, because you're trying to avoid sending, or you're trying to avoid your kids going through the same process, but that you went through, and you know that there was a great lesson in the painful process that you went through. So, and you will wish that your kids will go through that lesson, but without going through that tremendous abuse. So these things, it's very important to note this, and this is where you now become the teacher, because we have learned that nothing is happens by coincidence. There is no coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. So for you to go through that pain where you were going through, because you had to go through that lesson, and life forced you to go through that, you had to develop survival skills that you needed at that moment to survive for that moment. So yes, you don't want your kids to go through that, and as time changes and we develop and life changes, you are gonna be in a stage where certain survival skills are not needed, but youngsters need to develop certain survival skills, and they develop these survival skills through either the games that are created, through social life, through sometimes, which is not even nice, through being bullied, through family trauma and all of that. Now, if you are saying you're going to protect the young ones, we should protect, and there should be no justification. We must protect at all times and make sure that all the pain we went through, the young ones that are our generation do not go through. We should also make sure that they are well equipped to also avoid the disease, because remember what we always craved and we saw from those we thought they were privileged. They had certain disease, and not all, 80% of all times, those that we thought they were very privileged and we were looking at that life like, wow, I want that life. They had these kind of dis-ease in them. They had this pain. They were crying for that freedom, where sometimes a certain child could go and just play and jump in the mud or jump in the water or just go into an open land, and the family could connect together and eat together because there was no TV distraction. But we envied. We were like, I wish you could have a TV. But we didn't realize that your family got more closer together because there was no TV at home or a computer, because you couldn't afford it. Your family couldn't afford it. But that was not taking away from you. It brought the family together. So I'm not saying do not buy a TV for your young ones. Keep the TV, but you know what culture, what ethics not having a TV taught you, so you can still bring to your family without taking them through the same pain of removing the TV and removing the Wi-Fi. You can still give it to them, but make sure that the same culture and the same tradition that you, and the same upbringing that you had, that although you never had a TV, but you enjoyed sitting and eating as a family together. There's families that don't, they have everything they need, but it's just that they don't have the connection amongst the family where they cannot eat together. They don't. It's just like for them, when they do and the family sits, it's because maybe it's the great grandmother's birthday and that's the only time, and then things don't go well. So you need to bring these sweet and beauty that you learned and that you enjoyed in this hard upbringing, because everything happens and everything has its own negative and good. And yes, negative is there. We must make sure that it does not come there. But we must also make sure that all the lessons we learned through this hardship, we will bring it to our family and make sure they understand without taking them through the pain, because they don't deserve to go through the pain. And we don't take something that we give as privilege and use it knowing very well that it's going to cause a discomfort amongst our family. It's going to start developing certain disease and certain discomfort amongst your kids. So you knew that you couldn't afford takeouts all the time, but now you want your kids to have takeaways 4 days or 5 days a week. And it's nice, you can afford, and you are satisfied, but how much damage is it doing to them, to their brain, to their independence? So try give them that freedom, but try bring that lesson without that pain. Yeah, try bring that lesson without the pain. Do everything you can, because you're gonna send your kids there, but if you don't give them that lesson was there for you so that you can pass it on to your generation. And if you don't, then the generation behind you will have to go through, or the next generation after your kids will have to go through the similar pain, so that lesson is learned, because you had the responsibility to teach this lesson to your family, but you said, no, I'm not going to let them go through that. And now the lesson which was so precious that your generation is supposed to learn and maintain, it's just lost like that. Remember, this is just not the truth. It's my truth. It's just showing love and light. It's things from this angle we can explore. I said this topic is very broad. It doesn't mean that this is the only way to move forward. No, there's so many ways, and it will be interesting to see people doing different videos, also sharing their own views. So I'm interested to hear and be tagged on other topics that are expanding in this manner. So feel free. Hope to hear your comments as well. Good luck.